Okay, imagine this. It's just another Tuesday in Delhi, right? 2025. And then news starts to filter out. Not like a big press release, more like whispers.
Mm.
Whispers in the Supreme Court, in the Bar Council of India. A huge sum, 50 crore.
50 crore, it's that kind of
50 followed by 7 zeros, just donated anonymously, to the BCI. We're calling the donor Mysterious Moneybags because, well, who else could it be? But seriously, this isn't just some footnote. It's potentially massive for how law works in India.
Absolutely. It's not just for lawyers, you know. This potentially affects everyone.
That's the key point. And the Bar Council of India, the BCI, for anyone maybe not familiar, they're the big bosses.
They are. They're the governing body. They set the rules for who gets to be a lawyer, what law schools have to teach, the whole ethical framework, kind of the gatekeepers of the justice system.
Exactly. The gatekeepers. So a donation like this, 50 crore, it's not just, oh, that's nice. It could genuinely shift things.
You really could, and that's what we want to unpack today, isn't it? What does this actually mean?
Let's just sit with that number for a moment. 50 crore. The official line is, okay, it's for modernizing things.
Right. Infrastructure, training for young lawyers, digitizing libraries. Sounds good on paper.
It does sound good. But, you know, it makes you ask, why that much? Seems incredibly specific. And why right now? And maybe the biggest question, what can 50 crore actually do in a system this huge, this complex?
Those are the $1 million, or rather 50 crore rupee questions, aren't they? And to even start answering, we need to look at the legal profession in India today. What's the landscape like?
Yeah, what's the starting point?
Well, think about a Mumbai local train at peak rush hour.
Okay, got it. Packed. Chaotic.
Packed, chaotic, but absolutely essential, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like the Indian legal profession. The sheer number of lawyers, it's staggering. As of last year, 2025, over 1.8 million registered advocates.
1.8 million? That's a city's worth of lawyers.
It's a massive number.
Yeah.
And it brings challenges, big ones.
Like what? I mean, beyond just the numbers.
Well, a major one is the quality of legal education. The BCI oversees, get this, over 1,500 law colleges.
1,500. Seriously.
1,500. Now, you've got your top-tier places, the national law universities, which are excellent, world-class, really.
Right.
But then you have, well, a lot of the others. And many tend to focus very heavily on theory, book learning.
So graduates know the law, but maybe not how to use it.
Exactly. You can have someone brilliant, someone who can recite sections of the Constitution backwards.
Impressive, but
ask them to draft a basic contract or navigate the practical steps of filing a case. They might be completely lost. It's like being a tourist in Delhi, armed only with a history book, but no Google Maps. A theoretically knowledgeable, practically adrift.
Okay, I see that. And that gap, the theory versus practice gap, I bet that feeds into the other huge elephant in the room, right? The case backlog.
Oh, absolutely. It's a contributing factor, for sure. When lawyers aren't fully equipped, practically, things can slow down. And the backlog, the numbers are just mind-boggling. Last count, 2025, over 50 million pending cases.
50 million. Let that sink in. Just the weight of that number.
It's almost impossible to comprehend the human cost behind that number. Delays, uncertainty. And get this, there's apparently still a case active in the system that was filed back in 1952.
1952. Still going.
Still going. It's an extreme example, obviously, but it highlights the sometimes glacial pace. So that's the context.
Yeah.
Millions of lawyers, patchy education quality, this monumental backlog, and then boom, 50 crore appears.
Which loops us right back to mysterious money bags. What's the motivation here? Is it pure, unadulterated philanthropy?
It could be. It's possible. But when you're talking this kind of money,
you have to consider other angles.
You do. And you have to look at the relationship between wealth and the law in India. We have a significant and growing number of billionaires, hundreds, in fact. Their combined wealth is astronomical.
Right. The Huron India rich list figures were something like 334 billionaires, combined wealth of 159 lakh crore in 2024. Huge numbers.
Exactly. And with that kind of wealth comes, well, legal complexity, protecting assets, navigating regulations, high-stakes business disputes. It's a constant need.
So one theory could be, this is a strategic investment, helping shape a legal system, or at least future lawyers, to be more, let's say, sympathetic or understanding toward big business interests.
It's a plausible line of thought. Better trained lawyers, maybe lawyers trained with a certain perspective, perhaps even nudging future legal reforms.
Yeah.
It could be seen as beneficial from that viewpoint.
And there's always the PR angle, isn't there?
Can't ignore that. Philanthropy, especially on this scale, Generates good press, enhances public image.
Yeah,
It's effective.
definitely. But look, we need to be clear. We're just exploring possibilities here.
Absolutely speculative.
We don't know the donor's heart or mind. Could be genuine altruism, could be strategy, could be probably a mix of things, right?
And most likely some combination. Our job is just to lay out the potential factors.
Okay. So let's assume the money is used as intended. Legal education first. What could 50 crore actually buy?
Well, it could definitely kickstart some positive changes. You could fund the development of, say, really good digital learning resources, accessible everywhere.
Okay.
You could fund proper internships, give students actual practical experience,
Hmm.
bridge that theory-practice gap we talked about,
That seems crucial.
and maybe train the trainers. Help law professors develop courses focused on practical skills, mediation, arbitration, drafting, skills the modern legal world really demands.
Imagine graduates coming out actually ready to hit the ground running. Less theory, more.
That would be a significant shift, a game changer potentially for those who benefit.
And there's always a but, isn't there?
There usually is.
1,500 law colleges, 50 crore spread across that. Feels like it might get diluted pretty quickly.
That's the reality check. It's a lot of money, yes.
No, right.
But is it enough to fix systemic issues across all those institutions? Probably not. It might be more like a Band-Aid on a deeper wound. A very expensive Band-Aid, but still.
Yeah, okay. A starting point maybe, but not the whole solution.
Exactly.
So what about the courts, the justice system itself? How does the money help there? It's not going directly to judges or building courthouses, right?
No, it's indirect. The thinking would be if you have better trained lawyers.
Things run smoother, fewer mistakes, better arguments, faster cases.
That's the hope. More efficient case preparation, fewer procedural hiccups. And the digitization piece, if it extends beyond just libraries to things like e-courts or virtual resources for lawyers, that could eventually streamline things.
The digital angle seems key, making legal resources universally accessible.
That could be huge. Imagine a lawyer in a small town having the same access to case law and journals as someone in a top deli firm. That levels the playing field somewhat.
True, but again, the scale of the challenge, the backlog, sometimes the Chaltai attitude, the way things have always been done.
Precisely. The court system's issues are deep-rooted. Infrastructure, staffing, procedures, even culture. 50 crore is helpful. It's welcome, I'm sure.
Right.
But it's not a magic wand to erase decades of systemic inertia overnight.
So tempering expectations is important here.
It's very important.
Okay, let's bring it down to the individual. For you listening, the average person who might need a lawyer someday, how does this shake out? Best case scenario.
Best case, well, a better funded, better trained legal profession could lead to a more efficient system overall. Cases move faster, maybe legal help becomes slightly more accessible or effective.
That's the dream, right? Faster justice for everyone.
That's the ideal.
Buckle.
Yeah.
The flip side. The concern.
The flip side is the concern about influence.
Yeah.
We already have significant wealth inequality in India. Oxfam reports highlight this consistently.
Yeah.
So there's a worry. Could this massive donation, even if well-intentioned, further tilt the scales? Could it make the legal system seem or even become more responsive to the interests of the wealthy?
The perception that money talks, potentially getting louder in the halls of justice.
It's a valid concern. If public trust erodes, if people feel the system isn't fair or equally accessible, that's a serious problem. The challenge is ensuring improvements benefit everyone, not just the elite.
And this isn't happening in a vacuum, right? Other countries see big money influencing things, including law.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a global trend, in a way. You see examples in the U.S., think tanks, university chairs, funded by specific interests trying to shape legal thought.
Like the Koch brothers, maybe?
That's one often cited example. Or look at China, where tech giants are pouring money into legal tech. Different context. But
Yeah.
the theme of private wealth intersecting with the legal sphere is there.
The India's scale. It's just different, isn't it?
It is. The sheer population, the complexity of the laws, the number of lawyers. It makes our situation unique. A single donation, even 50 crore, faces a much bigger, more complex system to influence here than perhaps elsewhere. It's significant, but maybe not system-altering on its own.
Right. Not a panacea, as you said.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Okay, so if we were advising the BCI, if we had a wish list for this 50 crore, what would be top priorities? Where could it make the most difference?
Well, number one, for me, has to be that practical training in law schools.
Yeah. Mandatory, high-quality internships, mock trial facilities, training in negotiation, mediation, real-world stuff.
Exactly. Equip them properly. Second, I'd say really push the digital transformation, not just libraries, but integrated e-filing, better virtual hearing infrastructure, truly accessible online resources for all lawyers.
Makes sense. Makes the system more efficient, maybe more transparent, too. What else?
Financial support for young lawyers. It's tough starting out. Scholarships, maybe low-interest loans to set up practice, especially for those from less privileged backgrounds, widen the talent pool.
Good point. Level the playing field a bit.
And underpinning all of it, transparency.
Yeah.
The BCI needs to be crystal clear about how this money is being spent, where is it going, what results are they seeing. Public accountability is key.
Absolutely. Got to track the impact. And maybe a tiny slice for decent coffee machines in the courthouses.
Maybe not entirely frivolous. A well-caffeinated lawyer might be a slightly more efficient lawyer. Morale matters.
It does. So, okay, wrapping this up. This 50 crore, it's a big deal, a potential turning point. But
Well, lands in a system facing enormous deep-seated challenges. So it brings opportunities, yes, but also huge questions.
yeah, the big questions remain. Is it genuinely about lifting the whole system? Is it more strategic? Or is it, like most things, somewhere in between?
A complex mix, most likely.
And that leaves us, and you listening, with a final thought, doesn't it?
It does. It's really about the fundamental question. What role should wealth play in shaping something as critical as justice? How do we build and maintain a legal system that truly serves everyone fairly, no matter their bank balance?
How do we ensure fairness prevails?
Thinking about the long-term impact of money flowing into institutions meant to uphold the rule of law. That's something we all need to consider carefully.